The remaining tabs or rooms in the interface are Primary Out, Geometry, Still Store, and the Render Queue. The Primary Out tab is nearly identical to the Primary In tab, with the exception that the color corrections here are applied to clips after Primary In, Secondary, and Color Effects. You'll also notice Broadcast Safe controls. The Geometry tab provides tools for scale, rotation, pan and scan, flip and flop, motion tracking, and custom user-defined vignette shapes. 3 sub-tabs determine the contents of the right-hand pane. With the Pan and Scan tab selected, you'll notice a rectangle surrounding the frame from your clip. If you can't see the edges of the shot, Control-click or right-click and drag to zoom the view. The area inside the rectangle is the final, full-frame image output. You can click on the handles at the corners of the rectangle to scale the frame, or you can change the numerical values in the fields to the right. In the course of working with content, you'll oftentimes need to reframe a shot. Normally, Pan and Scan is used when formatting a widescreen image to fit standard definition screens. Generally speaking, the process takes a smaller portion of the original content, thus cropping or eliminating some of the shot. Once you've reframed a shot, you have the ability to apply keyframes to move or scan the scaling rectangle over time. With your playhead over the frame at which you want the pan to start, go to the Timeline menu and select Add Keyframe. You'll see an initial green keyframe marker inserted right under the playhead. Now, move your playhead further down the timeline within the shot. Again, from the Timeline menu, add a keyframe. You'll now notice a second green keyframe marker under the newly positioned playhead. You can now reposition the scaling rectangle to the desired framing. When you play back the timeline, the image will pan and scan between the 2 set keyframes. The Shapes tab is where you'll build the custom vignette shapes. Click on the New button on the right, and then proceed to click on the frames of your clip multiple times to create a mask shape. Choose between straight polygon shapes or B-splines. You can also name and save your custom shapes for future use. The next tab is the Tracking tab. Here is where you can track an object as it moves within multiple frames of your clip. Click on the New button and move or resize the tracking indicator that's now presented on the frame. The outer box is the search area for the tracker, and the inner box is the focus or bounding area that you wish to track. You might also want to set in and out points for the tracker. When the track has been defined, click Process. Once completed, you can then assign the track to a shape in the Shapes tab simply by entering the track number in the Use Tracker field. The Still Store lets you perform comparatives of multiple shots using a split screen. You can control the split with a wipe that acts both vertically, horizontally, or at an arbitrary angle. You can save any selected frame in the timeline to the Still Store simply by clicking on the Save button. To compare a frame that's in the Still Store with the frame that your playhead is on in the timeline, you navigate to the Still Store tab and double-click on the particular frame you wish to compare. Scrub the transition and angle fields with the middle mouse button to adjust the split. Once your clips have been graded, the final process is to render them. You can manage the entire process from within the Render Queue tab. The largest area in the Render Queue tab is the Render Queue table. Here you'll be able to see the different clips queued up for rendering. Click the Add All button to populate the render queue with your entire sequence. The following items are displayed: clip name, clip ID, in and out point, grade ID, and progress bar. The status of each clip is shown as queued, uploaded, rendered, or completed. Click Start Render to begin. Once the renders are complete, it's time to return the final graded version to Final Cut Pro. Choose File, Send to, Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro opens and creates an entirely new sequence inside your original project. This new sequence includes all of your original edits, now with the full quality grading you performed in color.